And we want to take you now to Baltimore, where officials are giving an update on this morning's bridge collapse.
As well as Colonel Roland L. Butler, Jr., Superintendent, Maryland State Police. Tonight we're going to hear from a brief statement from each of them on current updates. And after that, we'll be able to take a few questions, but we do need to keep it brief because we want to get these folks back to work. With that, I'd like to introduce Rear Admiral Shannon Gilreath.
Hey, good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of the first responders that have come out today to assist in looking for these individuals. We've had tremendous support across the state and county and city and federal enterprise. You've seen for yourself the helicopters flying over, the small boats that are out there, the Coast Guard cutter that's out there, the boats that go back and forth bringing people out on scene to search for these individuals. So thank you to this entire community for helping in that regard. Second, I want to say thank you to the community for the outpouring of support to those first responders, and in particular the outpouring of support and prayers and support for the families of the 6 individuals. So I'd like to announce tonight that based on the length of time that we've gone in this search, the extensive search efforts that we've put into it, the water temperature, that at this point we do not believe that we're going to find any of these individuals still alive. And so this evening at around 7:30, we are going to suspend the active search and rescue efforts. Coast Guard's not going away, none of our partners are going away, but we're just going to transition to a different phase. And so I'm going to turn it over to Colonel Butler, please.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. To echo the Admiral's comments here, we really appreciate the support from the community. To all the first responders here, we appreciate your patience and allowing us to do the best job possible and get you information as it comes up. At this point, as the Admiral said, we're going away from the search and rescue portion to a recovery operation. The changing conditions out there have made it dangerous for the first responders, the divers in the water. We will still have surface ships out overnight. At 0600 hours tomorrow, we're hoping to put divers in the water and begin a more detailed search to do our very best to recover those 6 missing people.
Thank you. With that, we have time for just a few questions. We know there's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, and we do have time for just a few. So if we could take a few, please.
So do we think it's still just 6? There's talk of maybe other cars on the bridge?
All the information we have is 6 individuals.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Can you go into detail about how difficult this might be for the recovery phase of this now? Like, what kind of challenges are you up against?
Well, I'll start by saying I'm going to turn it over to the experts on diving. I'm not an expert on diving, but we've got very difficult water temperatures. You have structures from the bridge that are in the water that can move with the tides and currents, making that dangerous for divers and people in the water to actually try to do recovery. And we do not want to injure any of these first responders in this recovery effort. We absolutely want to be as safe as possible for everyone involved in this. And I'll let see if Colonel Brown has anything he wants to add.
Can you go into specifics about what the search and rescue entailed? Like, were there scuba divers, or was everything above water, sonar, any sort of equipment that might have been utilized over the past 12 hours?
From the outset, we moved all those resources in with dive teams from various state, local, and county agencies. We also use sonar. We're doing our very best in some very difficult times and difficult conditions, which is why we're making that transition now. The last thing we want to do is put divers in the water with changing currents, low temperatures, very poor visibility, and so much metal and other unknown objects in the water. All it takes is one object to strike an individual, and all of a sudden we have a first responder trying to recover another first responder. I think at 0600 we'll find ourselves in a better position to understand the dynamics of what we're dealing with and to address the issue in a much safer manner.
Did the authorities have 6 IDs now, and have those victims each been contacted, those families I should say?
I can't speak on that. That's still in the investigative portion of this.
Can you speak to some of the difficulties in actually retrieving the remains? Have any remains been retrieved so far? We've also heard reports that there might be individuals
trapped inside of vehicles, that there might be debris that has made it more challenging for FBI and other law enforcement to deploy?
All of that is unknown at this point, and as I said, we have to cease operations. We can't start again until we can assure the safety of those divers and the rescue personnel that are going to participate in this. If we look at how challenging it is at a simple motor vehicle crash to extract an individual, I'm sure we can all imagine how much harder it is to do it in inclement weather, when it's cold, under the water, with very limited to no visibility.
So just to clarify, no remains have been removed thus far by search and rescue teams, other than the 2 who were rescued and alive earlier?
That is correct.
So, Colonel, you're confident then that no other vehicles made it onto that bridge before the collapse, or as it was collapsing, I should say?
Based upon the fact the original information that was provided, the Maryland Transportation Authority Police Department was able to shut down traffic. Is there the possibility there was another vehicle on there other than those vehicles involved in the construction process? I think we all would have to understand, yes, that's a distinct possibility. As unfortunate as it may be, it's a distinct possibility. However, we don't have any information to support that at this point.
When
Ma'am?
you bring the divers out, do you have an idea of where these individuals are, if they were in cars or not, and do you know how long the recovery effort is going to take?
We do not know at this point. I'm sure as you've seen some of the aerial photos, there is a tremendous amount of debris in the water from containers hanging off ships. We have to make sure those are shored up. We're going to work with structural engineers to help them understand how to navigate and address the challenges of having bridge structure in the water that may be sharp, that could puncture a suit, that could puncture an airline. All of these are things that we must take our time with.
Do you know where the victims are located?
This last question, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Where the victims are located in the water? Have you been able to find them yet, or if they're in cars or not?
At this point, we do not know where they are, but we intend to give it our best effort to help these families find closure.
How might inclement weather tomorrow impact the recovery efforts?
Very clearly it could, but we're going to do everything in our power to help these families find closure.
How stable has the boat been? How stable has the boat been?
Miss, how do I get their names, title, spelling? Does anybody have?
Folks, we're going to be establishing a unified command as well as a joint information center, and I know there's a lot of questions, and we're going to be providing that information where we will continue to provide updates. But that is the extent of our updates tonight. We thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
You've been listening to officials give an update on the major bridge collapse in Baltimore. The Coast Guard says the search and rescue operation is being suspended. It expects the 6 missing workers are likely dead. Lynda Tran joins me now. She's a former senior advisor to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. She is currently a partner at Epic Works Advisors, a consulting firm working in the transportation sector. Thanks so much for joining us. We just heard the search and rescue is being suspended. What does the rest of an investigation into an incident, obviously this is an extraordinary incident, but what else might it look like, the investigation into an incident like this?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to understand that there are 2 parallel but related processes that will be underway. So earlier today, we heard from Chair Jennifer Homendy and the National Transportation Safety Board, which will be looking into everything from the operations and safety protocols that were taking place all around the cargo vessel itself, as well as taking a look at the technology and any sort of forensic evidence that they can discover. At the same time, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Maryland Transportation Authority, you can expect they will, once the recovery effort has ended, they will be taking on additional information. They'll be dredging the waterways there to make sure that operations can get underway as quickly as possible. The responsibilities on the U.S. DOT side of things will be things like supply chain disruptions and making sure that the roadways are open and functioning as quickly and as responsibly as possible, while the NTSB continues to look at the safety implications, any sort of timeline and detailed protocol that will be a result of their discussions and the information that they discover.
And Lynda, I want to ask you about that supply chain disruption. This has forced the Port of Baltimore to close indefinitely. And I just want to run through some of the statistics about the port. It handled $80 billion worth of cargo in 23. The port supports more than 15,000 jobs and is key to shipping things like cars and construction machinery. So 2 questions, really. How do you think officials with federal money or otherwise going to lessen the effects on the supply chain? And do you think there was any case or any instance in which the federal funds might be used to lessen the blow that this will levy on the actual workers at the docks and related to commerce through this area?
Well, look, John, it wasn't very long ago. You've heard the president, you've heard Secretary Pete talk about how we thought Christmas was going to be canceled. That obviously didn't come to pass. I had the good fortune or the bad fortune of being on the front lines of those discussions and the work that was done to make sure that those disruptions did not persist. However, it's important to know that our goods movement chain, the supply chain writ large, is still very fragile. And these kinds of impacts on, one of the nation's largest ports, which had, as far as I know, 40 inbound vessels today, 34 of them cargo vessels, that's going to have an impact. And some of the actions that you saw take place during the major disruptions just a couple of years ago, you can expect are going to come into play here. So you'll see diversions to the ports of Virginia, to New York, New Jersey, et cetera. And then also in terms of the actual traffic flows, there's some additional implications because it's Baltimore. So the trucks that are going to be most impacted, I believe there's something like 4,900 trucks that would come across the Francis Scott Key Bridge every single day. And those that are carrying liquids, dangerous chemicals, those sorts of things that cannot go into tunnels, they're going to have to do significant diversions, right? Approximately 30 miles in addition to what they would have been able to do on a regular basis if the tragedy hadn't happened with the bridge. So there are going to be some big shifts that we've seen happen in other circumstances over the last few years, but there's no doubt there's going to be a tremendous impact here.
Can you give us a sense of what that would feel like? So 11 million cars drive across the bridge every year. If that is now going to have to be diverted, you already mentioned some of the, you can't just take a new route if you're carrying materials that are hazardous and that can't go on those new roads. So what happens? Does capacity have to be upgraded in those other routes? Is it possible to give us a sense of what life might look like in other areas that are now going to have to handle all this traffic?
So we haven't seen this kind of a tragedy, John, so I'm not going to predict what exactly the local authorities are going to do. What I do know is that this is very interesting in terms of the turf and who's in charge. You've got federal officials involved, you've got state officials involved, you have the city as well as the county. And I know they're all talking to each other about how they're going to adjust their plans, how they're going to prioritize what sort of traffic flow happens, and how they're going to address this over the coming weeks.
Lynda Tran, former senior advisor to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Thanks so much for being with us.